Alright, welcome back to some more Kinzo Insanity. Nah, I'm fucking around. It's Umineko when they cry. But yeah. Very last left off, Kinzo decided to show up and murder some fucking people. The first six. Apparently Goldsmith is now the wait a minute. I'm so confused. Is Beat? No, it's not the fucking witch. No. It's fucking Kinzo decides to show up. You can be like, oh, I'm gonna announce that the ceremony begins. And I'm gonna start by killing the first six of you guys. And it involves summoning the Chiester sisters. Well, I know the blonde one shows up. His name Double O. That's for sure. And we got the interesting one. Blonde hair, blue eyes one. Yeah, got the interesting aesthetic. And you know, she's a bit preppy if you think about it that way. And now so 6 plus 7 equals 13, right? So now the 7s are gonna get freaking warped down as now going to be part of the sacrifice. I was like, well, that was going to be that's going to be quick. Holy shit. So let's continue. When she did it again, 410 let out a short yell and jumped back. This time, a slightly larger pitfall had opened, swallowing both Shannon and Canon, who had been standing in a line by the door. But because 410 had jumped away from the door, the way was no longer blocked. Instinctively aware that he would be next, Goda dashed out through that door. Of course, Kumasawa also escaped with lightning speed, chasing after Goda. As Gap snapped her fingers over and over, round, jet-black pitfalls opened one after another behind them, chasing them. However, they did nothing but drive the recklessly fleeing pair away, and couldn't swallow them up. Goda and Kumasawa had escaped in a matter of seconds.
鈍ったわ。二人逃がした。ご安心を。逃走目標を捕捉中であります。
データリンクよし。にひ。狙撃しますか？
いいえ、それは許可できませんよ。貴重な生贄です。親方様の許可を待つように。
Well, that's up to Kinzo.
対ゴールドスミス卿。指示を待ちます。
第二の晩の訪れにはまだ早いと我が魔力の源泉がささやいておるわ。今はならぬ。好きにさせてやれ。どうせこの島からは逃げられぬわ。
Well, I'm not surprised.
親方様の魔力の源泉とはすなわちノイズとリスクと運試し。つまりは気まぐれというわけですか？
そうとも言うかもしれぬ。ガープ、ご苦労であった。儀式はこのまま着実に進めよう。さて、それはそれとして、次は我が孫たちだ。
Wait, what? You want to kill your own grandchildren? Oh, god damn.
次期当主たる資格があるかどうかを試す。はてさて、どうやってその資質を確かめたものか。
その資格があると判断されたなら、ベアとの復活を断念されるおつもりで？
無論だ。にもかかわらず試す。女の身にはわからぬであろうな。この矛盾、我が狂気など。
相変わらず男ってどこか変ね。
Oh, damn. I guess I am weird.
リスクを遊ぶという概念、わかりかねるわ。
おやおや、あなたはそういうのが大好きかと思っておりましたが。
もちろんよ。男に危険なリスクと一緒に恋をささやかれたらキュンキュンしちゃうわ。ただしイケメンに限る。
Huh. Well, I see that she has her own standards, and I say she's horny within her own standards.
お静かに。死後は慎むように。
実にかしましい奴らだ。だが少なくとも退屈はせぬ。これだから召喚は愉快なのだ。そなたらには我が儀式のノイズとリスクの天秤の片側を担ってもらうぞ。その働きに期待している。
Six brutally murdered corpses lay in the dining hall, and it was contaminated with red, gruesome decorations. It was now unimaginable that, until just a second ago, 13 humans had been arranged here in a well-organized manner. Kinzo lined up the famous demons and their subordinates, loudly declared the beginning of a night of overwhelming mass murders, and swore to himself that he would certainly revive Beatrice and open the door to the Golden Land.
待たせたな。
Sorry to keep you wait. What? I wasn't even.
これにて第一の番。いよいよ開幕。
Yes, the banger music returned.
金蔵め、相変わらず派手を好む男よ。付きまとわれればしつこいことこの上なき男も、舞台の上ではこれほどまでに映えるというのか。
くそ、相変わらず黒い殺し方ばかりしやがって。頭部半壊だ。てめえら魔女ども悪魔どもの悪趣味には相変わらずうんざりさせられるぜ。
I mean, witches and demons don't always. They don't. Okay.
頭部半壊。なるほど。
She's just standing here and saying, I see.
これまでのゲームで一番理想的な殺し方がこれだと気づいたわけね。
理想的？このひでえ殺し方がどう理想的だってんだ。
実に理想的じゃない。
Oh, hey, she decides. Oh, hey, Gap shows up.
一番最初のゲームを思い出してみるといい。
お前は
He's like, what?
さっき登場しやがった新しい悪魔とかいうやつか。くそ、また魔女の侵食が進んでろくでもないやつが増えたというわけなのか。
The more the witch's corrosion advances, the more Rokunjima tilts towards the spirit world. That's why strange, insane people keep appearing one by one. This island has been closed off by the typhoon, so no human can leave it, much less appear as a new character to increase their numbers. But the more the corrosion advances, the more witches and demons can appear without limit, increasing one by one. By now, there might be more demons than humans among the characters appearing in this insane tale. Their numbers might be the thing that represents this mad corrosion. Yeah, I'm sure that's true. And the corrosion hasn't just affected the number of people, but apparently their fashion sense as well. Well, they're not wrong. You know, I guess the world of fantasy does have a interesting sense of fashion aesthetic. If the corrosion advances any further, even more weird people appear. Just what in the world will they be wearing? It's so scary, I can't imagine. Seriously, give me a break. Don't make these weird guys increase in number anymore.
そうはいかんぞ。まだまだ増やすぞ。
I see.
人間どもの語るクローズドサークルなる間抜けなルールをわらわがいくらでも怪我してやろうぞ。
Defile the foolish closed circle rule.
よく来たな。我が優雅なるゲームへ。ガープよ。
お久しぶりね、リーチェ。
Oh, she calls her by Richie.
お元気だった？というか随分元気そうじゃない。あなた若返った？私が知ってる頃より2、300歳は若々しいわ。ああ、なるほど。
Interesting. We have, well, I don't think no, Beata doesn't technically have the blonde hair disorder. Well, it actually, if you think about it, when you look at images like that, it resembles. So we have the blondie and blue-eyed Beatrice, and then we have the blonde hair, drilled blue eyes. The demon grandfather had summoned and introduced as Gap. Took a glance at me and then grinned as though she'd figured something out on her own. That smile felt openly obscene.
ベアとの友人らしいな。ってことは輪をかけてろくでもねえやつってわけだ。しかしクローズドサークルがなんとかって言ってやがったが、どういう意味だ？
Here I thought the closed circle is another word for a closed room.
今の六軒島のような外界から断絶された場所で起こる連続殺人ミステリーはクローズドサークルとも呼ばれるわ。外界からの断絶、つまりは閉じられた輪の世界というわけ。故に登場人物と容疑者は限定されるのが一般的にもかかわらず、新しい容疑者候補が次々に輪の外から追加されていくのはミステリーの作法に反する。つまり人間とミステリーに対する魔女の冒涜ってつもりなんでしょう。
Having new suspect candidates added on one after another from outside the circle goes against the etiquette of mystery novels. The witch desecrating humans and defying the laws of the mystery genre itself.
あなたがグレーテル？なるほど。賢い子みたいね。
She just looks at Gretel and be like, you look like a smart kid.
そういう子は好きよ。舌が甘くてとろけるから。
Damn.
気色悪い。
She's like, gross.
冗談は服だけにしておいて。
She's like, yeah, keep the jokes to your clothing.
デビリッシュプリティの最新作、ジャック・ザ・リッパー・クリスマス・ブラッド。
Jack the Ripper Christmas Blood.
人間界の田舎娘には理解できないセンスでごめんね。
Freaking, that's funny. He's like, look, hey, that's the outfit I wear that resembles the serial killer. It's not my fault that a country bumpkin like you couldn't understand the taste of fashion.
通気性がいいのだけは理解できたわ。ついでに頭にも切れ目を入れたら？脳みその通気性も良くなるかもね。
Is that why she's called the Gap? Because of her top? She has like the gap of the side chest. I almost said side boob.
ガープは魔界の流行にいつも敏感でな。
Look, if they're gonna add like more like witches to like some sort of fan service type of thing, then you know, that's a little bit more humorous to itself. She's sensitive to the fashions of the spirit world.
しかし今年の流行りも実に大胆だ。わらわも一度ぜひ取り寄せてみるとしよう。
Uh-oh. I wouldn't imagine that.
リーチェにはアリグレがおすすめね。アリス&ザ・グレイブヤード。
Alice in the Graveyard.
今度一緒に666にお洋服見に行きましょうよ。たまには魔界にもいらっしゃいな。
このゲームを終えたらぜひそうしようぜ。
それにしてもリーチェの対戦相手のお二人はなかなか可愛いわ。この子なら東部半壊死体にどういう意味があるか察しがつきそうね。わかる？お嬢ちゃん。
さっきこいつは一番最初のゲームを思い出せと言ったな。どういう意味だ？
言葉通りの意味よ。一番最初のゲームの第一の番を思い出して。大人たちの死体が魔法陣の描かれた園芸倉庫の中で発見された時のことよ。覚えてる？
And remember that? Oh, I sure remember. Episode 1, The First Twilight. Kraus, Rudolph, Kyrie, Rosa, Shannon, and Goda. All 6 of them had their heads pulverized and died.
あの時、あそこには2種類の死体があったわ。それは、顔面を粉砕された死体と、側面を粉砕された死体の2種類。
そうだ。顔面粉砕はルドルフ、キリエ、ローズ、ゴーダの4人。
Yeah, I do remember that. They're all dead in the warehouse.
側頭部粉砕はクラウス、シャノンの2人だ。わらわもあの時点では気まぐれに生み出した2種類の死体であったが。
You mean to tell me there are dead bodies to pick specifically of?
より残忍な死体である前者の方がわらわにとってむしろ不利であることに気づいたのだ。
See, wait, 2 types of corpses, does that involve the 2 types of killers? Wait, what?
ベアトにとって不利。そうか。そういうことか。
That's right. The smashed faces might look atrocious, but that made it hard to confirm the identity of each person. For example, at that time, Uncle Kraus and Shannon Chan had their heads half smashed. That alone was atrocious enough, but because half of their faces remained, it was easy to confirm their identities. But Dad and the other 3 were different, because his face had been completely destroyed, Even I, as his son, could only guess by inference that it had to be Dad because of his clothes and the like. In short, it remained vague until the end whether that really had been Dad's corpse.
第1のゲームの時にも、もしも推理バトルが行われてたなら、俺は多分親父たちの死体を本人確認不能のため偽装死体の可能性もあると主張していたかもしれない。何しろあのゲームの時にはベアとは一切赤での発言もしていない。
I mean, if there were like 2 that were identified their heads half smashed, and the other 4 that are like really difficult to confirm, even though they look like they resembles their parents, then I don't know. I mean, if it was a decoy, it would have been a meme, and they would have been like shipped. The other 4 would have been like shipped off elsewhere.
お上手よ。それで正解。偽装師はミステリーの基本の一つ。たとえ医者に検証させたとしても、犯人とグルを疑われればその結果は信用できない。つまり確実な死を保証できない死体は常に魔女サイドを不利にするということ。
あらゆる死体について偽装死を疑い、その後の事件の犯人に想定することができる。バトラの嫌う手だけど、魔女に対する最も初歩的な一手ね。
ああ、そうだ。だからベアとは赤を使い出した。赤き真実で完璧な検証を行うようになったんだ。
そういうことだ。本来ならばこの第一の番の惨劇に対し、わらわはすぐにでも赤き真実にてこの度の6人の死亡を確定させるところである。しかし知っての通り、今回のわらわの戦法はこれまでとは正反対に赤き真実の兵糧攻めといったところ。
Red Truth Starvation Tactics.
そなたが反撃の拠り所にしようとする以上、わらわは容易には赤を使わぬ。必要最低限の赤にてたった一箇所だけほころびさせればいい。つまりわらわは究極的に言えば、そなたのあらゆる密室の推理についてあらゆる暴言を許せども、そのうちの一つをたった一回の赤き真実にて打ち破るだけで良いわけだ。
散々俺をいたぶってきやがったくせに、俺が反撃に使い出したら今度は引っ込めやがったってわけだ。ふざけやがってよ。
とにかく赤を使いたくない。けっちりたい。
The way she says it though. I just want to be stingy.
バトラをいじめてやりたい。しかし赤を使わずに確実なる死を保証するにはどうすればよいのか。わらわは悩みに悩んだわけだ。そのアイデアをガープがくれた。
Uh-oh. Some backseating.
実に簡単な方法だったのだ。
当たり前なことを言ったらリーチがひらめいただけよ。私は誰にでも容易に身元の判別と完全なる死が理解できる死体を用意すればいいと言っただけ。
二人はその2つを合体させたわけよ。
That's
身元の判別に必要な顔と完全なる死の象徴である魂の器たる頭部の粉砕。
the vessel for this.
この2つを左右ぴったりきれいに合体させたら、あら不思議。この頭部半壊死体がパーフェクトであるという答えが出たわけだ。
お前絶対2色パンとか2色アイスが好きだろ。
I'll bet you love two-colored bread and two-colored ice cream.
欲張りな子供趣味丸出しだぜ。
Isn't that a thing though? I know Neapolitan ice cream, Neapolitan cake is a thing.
いずれにせよ、たとえ頭部が半壊していたとしても、現時点では彼らが死んだとみなすべきではないわ。
Even though their brains splattered and all that shit, like chunks flying around.
分かってる。ベアトがもったいぶって赤での宣言を拒む以上、全ては疑ってかかるべきだな。もちろんシエスタの太もも姉ちゃんたちの魔法殺人だって鵜呑みになんか絶対しねえぜ。
Chester ass knee chunks. Good one.
本当に慎重になったこと。最初のゲームの頃だったなら何でもかんでも鵜呑みにしてくれていたのにね。
公的書はこうでなくては面白くないというものよ。今は赤がないことを幸いに、自由な想像を広げ、好きに推理を重ねるがいい。
Can you imagine whatever he wants and he's no freaking.
一番最後の一番おいしいところでバッサリと赤き真実にて叩き切ってくれようぞ。
Wow. That face change. I'm surprised Gap doesn't even have any sort of creepy faces on her other than her like smug. The sweet world of witches. Silent. Black. Cold. Painful. Rosa regained consciousness bit by bit, and the first thing she thought was that it would have been better if she hadn't. After all, with her body this cold and hurting, the pain grew the more her consciousness returned. It felt like she'd been sleeping on ice-cold marble in the darkness, lying face down for a long time. This is why I always tell myself, even if it's just for a nap, I've got to at least grab a sofa. I know that if I naively try to close my eyes for just a second, oh boy, once you open your eyes, you can never go back. And end up sleeping on the floor or in the study chair. It'll hurt my body later and make things difficult. Since I slept on such a cold and hard floor, even my bones are ice cold. Since I slept on such a hard and cold floor, the half of my face pressed down against it hurts a lot. If I were to look in the mirror right now, I'm sure I'd see an embarrassing mark. I didn't think that just rubbing it would make that mark disappear, but I stroked the hurting side of my face anyway, trying to smooth it over. I wonder where this is. I thought it was pitch black, but it looks like it isn't. After all, I can faintly see my own body. Without a doubt, there was some source of light, but even if I looked up at the ceiling or else the sky, there was only an expanse of blackness and I couldn't see a proper light. My body alone was slightly lit. Yes, Rosa, this is like the second time you got isekai into some bullshit. My body alone was slightly lit, whereas everything else was sunk in darkness. That's what this world was like. It was almost as though Rosa alone had been abandoned in a forgotten world. As her mind grew clear, she started getting nervous about why she was all alone in a lonely place like this. When she was about to call out, asking if anyone was there, she heard the patter of footsteps coming towards her. They were light footsteps, so she thought it was probably a kid. She didn't sense anything disturbing, so she wasn't afraid. But they also weren't Maria's footsteps. So, wondering who in the world would be in the darkness like this, she stared in the direction and the footsteps were coming from. As she did, a faint approaching silhouette came into view. It looked like a child much younger than Maria. Who is it? I don't know this kid. But the expression on his face was like a lost child separated from his parents. As a parent with a daughter herself, Rosa felt as though her chest had been torn apart.
ウリュウ。
The instant the kid muttered that infantile word, she felt pain in the half of her face that had started hurting from the cold floor as though it had been pierced by long, thin, hard needles. Yes, the moment she heard that word, now she's getting the freaking stun lock. It really fucking. Now you remember. You know? Why do I get the feeling that when. Well, Rosa got her face, like, split off in half. They weren't necessarily killed. But. What if it's actually a message as, a lesson? A way to. What if it's like. They didn't. Wait a minute. I get the feeling that they didn't split up their face. Well, they didn't really kill them when they split half of their faces off. I feel like when the ones that got their faces split off, and it's a kind of, they did it, you know, as a way to do psychological torture, maybe? I get the feeling, though. Huh. As though it had been pierced by long, thin, hard needles. Without thinking, she pressed her hand against that side of her face.
大丈夫？まだ痛い？ありがとう、僕。ここはどこ？すごく寒いわ。
I like it how Rosa didn't even recognize the voice of Sakutaro.
こっちへ来て。ここにいちゃいけない。
That child took my other hand and pulled with a grim expression on his face. Rosa didn't have a clue what was going on. However, a single honest expression on a child can often tell the truth better than 100 words from an adult. She didn't know the situation, but even so, she dashed along with him, still being pulled. But this was a world where nothing could be seen in the darkness except for their own forms. It didn't even really feel like she was moving forwards. Even though she was running, she couldn't even feel any wind. It was as though she was still inside a nightmare, that kind of unreal sensation. So, even though I ran, I couldn't maintain I couldn't maintain my sense of balance, and my legs got tangled and I fell. Even in a world that didn't feel real, the pain of smashing my face against the cold, hard floor was reality itself.
ウリュウ、大丈夫？ごめんなさいね。頭が痛むの。
When the kid said that infantile word Uryu, pain like being stuck with needles ran through my head again. Even though it had only happened twice, I was somehow able to understand that the child's word was the cause of my pain. So I said so frankly.
ごめんなさい。その、ウリュウという口癖をやめてもらえる？
I bet words like ooh you and ooh are like, you know, causing her pain.
ウリュウ
Uh-oh. Yep, and he said it.
ちょっとやめてって言ってるでしょ。
ごめんなさい。
He was about to say it. I had the feeling that this child's apology caused a sharp pain in my forehead this time. What is this child? I know there's no malice in him, but when I am around this child, my head hurts.
大丈夫？早く行こう。ここは行っちゃダメ。
Well, I can see why it causes her pain. The past is traumatizing her. The cringe traumatizes her, apparently.
どうしてここにいちゃダメなの？ねえ、ここはどこ？あなたは誰？あなたのママはどこ？
僕を作ってくれたのはママだよ。
She's like, what? That child stared at me with round eyes. This kid's mama is me? Well, let's go over what happened. That one part, you know, the little Maria's backstory, you know? Me? Who? Who is this kid? I don't remember at all.
僕のこと忘れちゃった？ママが僕を作ったんだよ。
ちょっと冗談はやめて。私の子供はマリアだけよ。そう。マリアはどこ？マリアはどこなの？マリア！
I suddenly grew nervous. I suddenly grew nervous about Maria not being there. Why am I all alone in a place like this? Where is Maria? I'm only able to be me because Maria is there for me.
マリアはいるけど、今はマリアじゃない。
Well, yeah, the Maria you're gonna meet is not the actual one.
今は会わない方がいいの。その方がママのためだし、マリアのためなの。マリアのためにも逃げて。
え？何を言ってるの？マリアはどこ？マリア！返事をして！
マリアに見つかっちゃう。早くこっちに来て、ママ！
That child pulled on my hand again. He was probably pulling me in the opposite direction from Maria, so I stopped walking.
話してよ。大体あなたは誰よ？あなたにママなんて言われる覚えはないわよ。
僕を作ってくれたのはママだよ。忘れちゃったの？マリアのバースデープレゼントにするために僕を手作りしてくれたの忘れちゃったの？
あなた。
She's like, no.
まさか。
It can't be.
マリアの作太郎。
ママに作ってもらったライオンのぬいぐるみだよ。
And then boom, when she tries to remember, it gives her a migraine. A fierce, sharp pain struck me. It came from the palm he had grasped with his hand. When I knocked his hand away without thinking and looked at my palm, a hole the size of a thumb had opened there and deep red blood gushed out. It was a hole so big that I could see through to the other side.
ウリュウ、大丈夫？大丈夫？どうしたの？
Sakataro noticed my wound and panicked. As far as I could tell by looking at him, he couldn't understand why my hand had sustained a serious injury. But in my eyes, it felt like I'd been injured because he grabbed my hand. Regardless of whether there was malice in him, I understood that this child was something that would do harm to me, and he instantly seemed eerie.
あっちへ行って。あなたなんか知らないわ。作太郎は気持ち悪い下手くそなぬいぐるみでしょ。私は知らないわよ。ママなんかじゃないわよ。あっちへ行って。消えて。
Slowly, the base of Sakataro's neck was sliced in a horizontal line. It gaped open and pitch-black insides peeked out. No blood poured from it. Only an empty blackness peeked out. Then, from the insides of the gash, cotton snow poured out, and as bits of cotton scattered, he slumped over. Then all that remained was a crumpled yellow cloth, and bits of cotton that looked like sticky, crushed cotton candy. Well, crazy. A lion stuffed animal. Without a doubt, there were the remains of the Sakataro stuffed animal I tore apart on that day, while overcome by my emotions. The instant I realized that, a long, sharp shriek that could rupture an eardrum tore the world apart. Shriek? Like a flood from a broken dam, or like a broken TV, Maria cried out in a high-pitched voice. Her voice, which made the ears throb, brought up two emotions in me. One was regret. Yeah, I was overcome by my emotions and went overboard. It was a mother's desire to kneel down right away, hold Maria's head, cry with her, and apologize. In actual fact, I did that right away. I held Maria's head and apologized, crying. But Maria didn't stop crying. On the contrary, she rejected me, the one who had torn her closest friend apart, and pushed me away forcefully with both hands. I had been on my knees in an unnatural position, so I fell backwards easily. Maria scraped together the yellow scraps of cloth and cotton bits, buried her face in them, and cried even more. Watching that, another emotion welled up. It welled up rapidly, and then it burst. After all, she refused to make up with me even though I had apologized, and there was nothing I could do now anyway. And it was all Maria's fault in the first place. Since she's too busy playing with stuffed animals all the time like this, she can't make any friends, and that's why people treat her like a freak. Or, you know, she's a special needs person. You know, that's the thing though, like I keep making like jokes about like whether she has a mental disability or like Maria's like autistic or something, but I'm pretty sure like if I want to say it in like a very non-derogatory way. She's I guess Rosa doesn't want Maria to act like a special needs kid. This is a perfect opportunity to give her some instructive guidance. After all, it's not like I was pampered all the time. Everything eventually breaks, is stolen, is destroyed by someone. Even I had lots of toys and treasures stolen, broken, mocked, and thrown away by my brothers and sisters, and mother and father. But when I cried about that, while I might have shed a few tears, not once did I sob like this and trouble my parents, throw a tantrum, get mad, hit the floor and kick and make a racket. Even though I always wanted to, I thought I'd get in more trouble if I did, so I always held it back. It's because I held it in that I was able to become the wonderful adult I am now. At that moment, I felt something strange. The same feeling as when you use a tool recklessly, and it finally breaks so that only the base is left. But I wasn't using a tool. I'd just been repeatedly hitting Maria's head with both hands. So, I looked at my hands. From my wrists onwards, my hands had been broken off, splintered, and disappeared. As though only that part of my arms had become ceramic. No, as though all of me from the wrists onwards had suddenly become ceramic and had broken and fallen. They must have gotten filled with cracks because I hit Maria too much before falling off. After all, look, aren't both of my wrists lying smashed by my feet? There was no pain, but the shocking sight of my hands breaking off from the wrists onwards made me scream.
何これ何これ私の手
Yep. When bad deeds become a bad curse. Oh shit.
これでもうマリアを叩けないね。
When in doubt, prevent child abuse by severing the hands. Ignoring my confusion, Maria spoke with an icy voice, slowly moving her hands away from her head, where they had been defending it against my barrage.
何よこれ私の手私の手何をしたのよマリアこれは何なのよ何これ何これ
Behind Maria's back, a black silhouette had appeared. It was the silhouette of an adult. Who?
娘の頭をなで絵本をめくる温かい食事を作ることのできる腕なら残してもよいかと考える。
Damn. This is like the second time Rosa had to be psychologically lectured. Holy shit. Like, remember the remember like somewhere in like the Tea Party second episode where Rosa like woke up in like the purgatory and then Beatrice had to fucking like coach her? And you know, and Beatrice let her servants like feed like, you know, disgusting shit, so. Oh boy, let's see how this lecture turns out to be.
ママはマリアの頭を撫でるより叩く方が多いよ。絵本なんかめくってくれない。ご飯だって作ってくれない。 マリアが自分で買いに行くの。
Did she wait, does that apply to like school as well? She doesn't even like cook food for her or, like before taking her to school? And so that's actually pretty wild. Imagine like imagine what I'm sorry, Rosa, like you either are so busy or you have like, you know, some sense of irresponsibility. Because you can tell by how much shit that Rosa did.
でも同じお店に何度も行っちゃいけないし、顔を覚えられてもいけない。おまわりさんに話しかけてもいけない。なんで？どうして？マリアが悪いの？マリアはママに撫でてもらったり、絵本を読んでもらったり、
Have picture books?
一緒にご飯を食べたりしちゃいけないの？どうして？どうして？マリア悪くないよ。マリア悪くない。ママが悪い。ママが悪い。ママは一緒に遊んでくれないけど、サク太郎は一緒に遊んでくれた。本も読んでくれた。テレビも見てくれた。一緒にご飯も食べてくれた。ママよりもっともっと大切な友達だったのに。
悪かったと思ってるわ。でも仕方ないでしょ。ママは仕事で忙しいのよ。仕事で。
I mean, don't single parents have like a backup plan or something?
ママの仕事が忙しいのは知ってるでしょ。仕方ないのよ。仕方ない。
そうだ、これは仕方なきこと。そなたの娘が傷つき、心を引き裂かれ、涙に血を浮かべることさえ、これは仕方なきこと。
That is one heck of a over-exaggeration.
なれば今この場にてこのようなることになるもまた、すべては仕方なきこと。さあマリア、母を名乗った女の言い分は以上だぞ。許せる否か、無罪か、はたまた有罪か。
Is this how a witch trial works? Oh shit.
許せない。ママは有罪だ。サク太郎にママがしたのと同じ目に合わせてやる。ママを首の縫い目のところから引き裂いて中の綿をぶちまけてやる。
Maria's eyes ominously flashed blue. In that instant, invisible massive arms stuck their In that instant, invisible massive arms stuck their fingernails out and tightly grasped Rosa's entire body. As the bones all over her body made a sound like twigs being stepped on, they cracked readily and broke apart. Rosa had understood vaguely that massive arms were probably her own arms from the time she torn Sakutaro apart. From a stuffed animal's perspective, her arms certainly would have been this massive. So she could imagine what would happen next. The sharp nails stuck deep into the base of her neck, and she heard the skin tearing with her own ears. Then, as the two witches washed over her. Rosa's flesh was split in two, top and bottom. When Sakataro had been torn apart, bits of cotton had flown about like snowflakes. But in Rosa's case, something like black, thick tar came out, filthily flying all over the place. There wasn't even a trace of the red of blood. It was something black, filthy, and thick. It was probably what a bloodless, tearless human kept inside their body. Yes, only a subhuman would have like thick, tar-like substance poured out.
なんと汚らわしき中身か。見事であったぞ、マリア。さあどうか。そなたの復讐はこれにて十分か。そなたは母を許せるか否か。
Well, that's up to her.
無罪か有罪か。
許せない。まだまだ許せない。有罪だ。
When Beatrice brandished her pipe cane, gold butterflies seeped up and restored Rosa's broken flesh in an instant. Oh no! What, her... what? Oh no, her body gets revived.
「一つの命で償えぬほどのそなたの大罪、身をもって知る。そして自らの深き罪を思い出せ。さあさあ思い出してごらんなさい。そなたがどれほどの罪を犯したのか。
Oh boy.
もしもし、ママなの？ママは何時に帰ってくるの？
ごめんなさいね。今日も仕事が忙しくて泊まりになってしまうの。
Is this one of the... I didn't know there's a backstory involved sinning.
またお仕事でお泊まり？ママのお仕事、今日も大変だね。
ごめんね。本当に忙しいの。もうずっと会社に缶詰よ。外の空気も吸えやしないわ。ママの仕事は早く終わらすだけじゃダメなの。より良いデザインを上げないと次から仕事をもらえない大変な仕事なのよ。だからどうしても時間がかかっちゃうの。
Or that I can never imagine the miserable work culture when it comes to the Ushiromiya family.
うん。わかってるよ。マリア、いい子でお留守番してるから、お仕事いっぱい頑張って早く終わらせてお家に帰ってきてね。
ママのお仕事を分かってくれてありがとう。明日おいしいケーキを買って帰ることを約束するわ。
ケーキいらないよ。ケーキ屋さんによって遅くなるより、その分ちょっとでも早くママが帰ってくる方が嬉しい。
大丈夫よ。早く帰ってくるわ。約束する。だから美味しいケーキを2人で食べて、美味しい紅茶を2人で飲んで、一緒に新しい絵本を読みましょう。 この間買った狼と羊のパズルで遊びましょうね。二人で一緒に約束よ。
うん、約束。待ってるね。お仕事頑張ってね、ママ。
ほうほう、寂しい話ではあるが、互いを思い合う良き親子愛ではないか。
Well, seems like an interesting bond on over the phone.
何か問題があるというのか、マリ。そしてローザよ。
その約束は私はちゃんと守ったはずよ。次の日の夕方に約束通りケーキを買っていつもより早い帰宅をしたはずよ。
マリアは知ってたよ。あの日の夕方ね、ママ宛てに着払いの荷物が来たけど、お財布の中のお金が足りなかったから、ママにどうしようって相談したくて会社に電話したの。特別な時以外はかけちゃダメって言われてたけど、ママのお仕事の大切なものだったら悪いしと思って電話したの。そしたらママはお休みだって言われた。その日はずっと前からお休みに決まってて、遠くへ遊びに行っているって言われたの。マリアは知ってたよ。ママが嘘をついてるってずっと知ってた。
It has been fabricated the whole time. Wow.
でもね、サク太郎がそうじゃないってマリアを叱ってくれたの。
Saying that it wasn't true.
ママは毎日お仕事でとても大変。マリアを放っておいて遊んでるはずなんてないって。ママはお休みって言った人はきっと何か勘違いして言ってしまったんだよって。
Well, it could be some sort of misunderstanding.
サク太郎がそう言うんだもん。
I mean, whether you believe it or not, you couldn't even tell because you're calling from a company. Like you're not gonna go all the way just to visit a company, you know?
マリアは信じたよ。マリアは信じた。ママ大好き、ママ大好き。もちろんママだってマリアを愛してる、愛してるって。
ええ、私もよ。愛してるわ、マリア。
Rosa let out a deep sigh. Maybe she felt the weight of her words. Then, she set the receiver on the bedside phone down. The dark room made the starry sky on the ground below the window stand out. The dark room made the starry sky on the ground below the window stand out even more beautiful. On the table in front of the terrace was a very cold wine cooler, and the one she shared a glass with was gazing at the scene below.
娘さんに旅行って話してないんですか？
Uh-oh.
行くって言って前にうるさかったんで、以来言わないことにしてるんです。その方が面倒がなくていいんで。
娘さんが気になるなら無理に日程を組まなくてもよかったじゃありませんか。
でもそれじゃいつまで経っても予定が合わないし。
This excuse makes no fucking sense at all.
それは気にしないでって言ったでしょ。
The slender, middle-aged man, clad in a white robe, gave a small sigh. Rosa reacted instantly to that slight action.
もう娘の話はなしにして。せっかくの上等なワインが台無しよ。
私はあなたに一人の人間としても女性としても魅力を感じています。ですがだからこそあなたの親子の事情に無理を強いてまでこうして時間を割くのは申し訳ないと感じています。
Well, he's like, why am I getting the feeling that there's a big situation between you and Maria?
私と娘の事情は気にしないでくださいっていつも言ってるじゃないですか。あなたと二人きりの時に娘の話はしないようにしているでしょ。電話だって下のロビーでうるさい酔っ払いがバカ笑いしてなければここではかけなかった。
ローザさん、こういう唐突な日程での旅行は娘さんのためにも今後は少し考えませんか。互いの日程があった時だけでいいじゃありませんか。
それじゃ全然日程が合わないじゃないですか。私はいつだって一緒にいたいのに。
それは子供の恋愛の仕方です。大人同士の恋愛はもう少しストイックであるべきですよ。ローザさんと一緒にいられる時間が長く取れないことは僕も寂しいです。ですがその限られた時間と機会で僕たちは十分に大人の恋愛を楽しめていると思いますよ。
それはもっと娘と一緒にいろと。女でなく母でいろということですか。
あなただって望んでいることでしょう。娘さんと一緒にゆっくり過ごしたいとあなただって思っているはずだ。僕は逃げません。僕との時間を優先するために娘さんを犠牲にするのは気の毒だと申し上げたいのです。
奥さんとのより戻したんですか。別れるのが嫌になったんですね。
妻の話はしたくない。あなたが娘さんの話をしたくないのと同じです。
子連れの女は面倒だって思ったんでしょう。
そんなこと今までに一度も言ったことはありませんよ。
みんな子連れだと分かると手のひらを返す。あの子の養育費は気にしなくていいからと言ってもみんな手のひらを返す。あなたは娘のことを理解してくれてると思ったのに、やっぱり子連れだと嫌なんですね。
そうは言っていません。ローザさんのことを嫌いになってなどいませんよ。私が言いたいのは娘さんをもっと大事にしなさい。あなた自身もそれを望んでいるはずだ。だから娘さんに嘘をついて自らを傷つけてほしくない。 そう言ってるだけなんです。
Yeah, it's not like lying is gonna help your ego.
嘘つき。私のことが面倒になっただけ。そうでしょ。
そんなことは言っていない。
いいえ、わかるの。私にはわかるわ。あの子を理由に何度も捨てられた私だからわかるの。雰囲気でわかるわ。そうよ、あなたもそう。他の男たちと一緒。子連れの女は嫌なのよ。バツイチは嫌なのよ。面倒なのよ。知らない男と作った子供の親になんかなりたくないんでしょ。ええ、そうよね。その気持ちすっごいわかるわ。子連れの男と付き合ったことがあるけど、その気持ちすっごいわかったの。だから娘を理解してくれるあなたとなら一緒になれるって信じたのに。
Wow.
そうよ、あんたなんて邪魔だったのよ。あんたさえいなければ私はとっくに女としての幸せをつかめたのよ。あんたの存在が私の幸せをいつも邪魔するのよ。
I mean, the way you say it, it makes me question myself. Am I the only one? Wait a minute. I have the right to question Rosa to say like, why did you like have a child in the first place if you can't? You think that thing is in your way? Like that's part of your fucking responsibility. Like I don't fucking understand. That's pretty fucked.
私だってあんたなんか産みたくなかったわよ。いいえ、違うわ。あんたと一緒に幸せな家庭を築けたらと思ったわよ。でもあんたが生まれる直前にあいつは蒸発したわ。私と温かい家庭を築くと言って私を騙し、永遠に私の前から消え去ったわ。
That's just fucking insane.
残ったのはあんただけ。愛も思い出も何もない。あの男は今どこへ。私との日々を温かな思い出に勝手に変えて新しい恋人に出会ったかもしれない。そして今度こそ幸せな家庭を築けたかもしれない。
That's pretty unfortunate.
そして私はあんたがいる。恋も探せない。男は好きに女を渡り歩いて武勇伝気取り。
Alright, I am back. Had to go for a little bit of a coffee break, so here I am. Well, let's just say Rosa gets caught exposed, you know? She lied about being busy with work, and instead she's on vacation with her boyfriend. I'm like the fuck? That is insane. You know, you really question, you know, with the way she's, with Rosa saved, you really question her quite a lot. But then again, I don't know what the romance culture Why am I getting the feeling the romance culture in Japan is fucked?
なのに女には私には
Men can go between women they like and brag about it? Oh, jeez.
あんたがいる。あんたという重しがいるのよ。あんたのせいで私は恋を探せない。愛が得られない。一人で生きていくしかない。
Isn't Rosa young though?
いいえ、それさえも許されてないわ。私には一人で酔いつぶれたい夜さえ許されていない。あんたは誰？何者？私の人生を台無しにして私の新しい人生さえ許してくれないあんたは私の人生の何者なのよ。死ね！消えろ！あんたなんか生まれてきた時から大嫌い。
Well, you admitted it to her, so no going back.
あんたがお腹の中にいた頃から大嫌いだった。
That's fucking insane.
それを前向きに受け入れようと頑張って良き母を演じてきたわ。私は頑張った。同世代の女性たちが独身を謳歌し、時に恋に遊び、あるいは愛に結ばれるのを横目に見ながら、私は女と母の二足のわらじを履き続けたわ。その私の苦労を誰がねぎらったの？誰も褒めない、たたえない。自業自得。子持ちは嫌。負け組の遠吠え。うぶな小娘がいい？こっちから願い下げよう。ケツの青い若造どもが。必死だった私はさぞかし簡単に落ちる女に見えたろうさ。必死だったわよ。まだまだ恋をしたい年頃の私が日々を仕事と育児で忙殺されていき、このまま老いてこのまま人生を終えるだろうと悟った時、どれほど必死だったか想像もつかないでしょうよ。あんたの本当の父親ももちろん憎いわよ。でも破局を迎えた責任は私と彼に半々だわ。
I did hear about the backstory of the sword, but I didn't know that we were repeating the backstory, so this is actually more tragic than before.
私にも逃げられるだけのしつこさがあったのかもしれない。でもその後の破局は全部あんたのせい。私はあんたにそれをなじったことはあった？ないでしょ。男に逃げられて酔いつぶれたいその次の日があんたの授業参観。泣き晴らした目を厚化粧でごまかして、あんたが的外れな発言をしてクラス中から失笑されてた時の私の気持ちなんて。あんたどころか世界中の誰にもわからないでしょうよ。
I mean, you're right that everyone couldn't understand Maria. I'm pretty sure some people do. It's not like everyone entirely.
あんたが嫌い、大嫌い。そしてこれまでにあんたを本当に愛したことなんてただの一度もない。
Even if So even though you spoiled Maria with all the stuff you bought for her, it makes it sound like the, you know, the whole mother-daughter thing is pretty fake entirely. I don't really believe in this, but why? It's crazy. Oh. I wanna. Nah, well, I'm not gonna bother splitting it. Could have ended from here. All right, next part. Let's see what Maria's thoughts about, you know, the whole entirety of Rosa's antics. So, like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you guys later. Have a good one.